Alright, so that's kind of an overview of the engineering role. So within the role.ini file, I did show you that file, but within there's a path where you can define what folder you want to map the LST files to and how they merge together. So that's kind of described here. So by default, of course, it's in the engineering template settings folder. And then we have a setting that we changed for how line work with drawings is clipped around text, and so I'll show that in a second. And then also we've set now, there's a new variable that allows you to force which model template is opened automatically or used automatically when you create a new model. So on the demonstrating the application with the line clipping, just to show you an illustration of that, here I have two different drawings. This one here, for example, shows a drawing where notice that the text of this 16 by 36 is, you know, right over the steel beam here. So versus this setting, this example here, where the line clipping is active. So the line clipping is true, so that the text box actually cuts out around the line work below it. Now there might be situations where you or your standards are that you do not want this functionality. You would prefer this functionality where you can see through everything. So by default we have it this way where the line clipping is not active. But we do have customers who use use it both ways. So again, this setting is actually in the role.ini file for engineering, and you can set that information, set that here. And then also with the model template, we said that the model template path can be set by default. So the engineering template, now we've actually changed some of the files that are in the engineering template that's used. Because the objects IMP now, we have our own engineering role IMP, we do not need that objects IMP in the model folder, which was in the engineering model folder. There was also a settings folder that was in version 14 and 15 that was used with the design group numbering. All those attribute files that were located in that folder now are in the system folder, in the engineering system folder. So you don't have to worry about copying those over if you were not using the model template. And then, so basically the model template just stores some default custom components and sketches in the database file that are useful. If you don't want to import the custom components in, you can just automatically start a model and have these default custom components. So again, the engineering template will automatically be loaded whenever you create a new model. Some changes to the dialog boxes. The part properties have been changed to really reduce the number of tab pages that are available. And this is really relating to the analysis and design settings. Before we had several tabs that were all related to analysis and design. So now if we go into the model, we see that there's really just the attributes and position tab. So this is really the way that it is for steel detailers in their role. And what we've done is instead now we've moved these properties into the actual analytical part settings themselves. So now when I have an analytical model, there's these analytical parts, and so all these properties that before were up in here in the part properties and the physical part properties are all now in the analysis properties. So like start releases, end releases, loading, all these different settings, as well as all the other settings that were in the user defined attributes tab for customizing the settings. So before, remember, there was 2 analysis tabs. Well, now that's been reduced down to just 1 tab with 1 variable, and everything is really in a one place here for you. You do though have the ability to set up or preset what settings are used in these analysis settings, and that's up here within Analysis Properties. So for example, for steel concrete columns, for example, when I load that settings, I can see that there's attribute files saved away here where, you know, columns have concrete columns have a fixed base automatically. So again, you can still have the default settings like you did before, but they're just preset. But then you're really doing your modifications, you know, through the analytical parts themselves.